Hi guys, my name is Nonema Tigela. Welcome back to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, today we need to talk about what may become one of the most controversial moments in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial because of Judge Ratta's behavior and Judge Ratta's way, the things that he does in that courtroom. Because after listening carefully to what happened in court, I believe many people may have misunderstood the real issue. The question is not whether Qaniselani Makimba Buthelezi wanted to testify. The question is not whether he was refusing to answer questions. The real question is, was Judge Ratta dealing with a witness who was refusing to testify, or was he dealing with a witness who was challenging the authenticity of a statement attributed to him? And those are two completely different things. Let's start with what Qaniselani actually said. Throughout his testimony, he never said, I refuse to answer questions. He never said, I do not want to testify. He never said, I am done speaking. Instead, his position remained remarkably consistent. He said, this is where I started. This is where I ended. I will answer questions about what I told Brigadier Gininda. I will answer questions about matters that I know. But I cannot answer questions about things that I never said and know nothing about. Now, stop right there. That is not a refusal. That is a dispute. There is a massive difference between saying I refuse to answer and saying I cannot answer because those are not my words. One is contemptuous conduct. The other is an evidential challenge. And this is where things become extremely interesting. Instead of the discussion focusing on whether the state could prove that the entire statement belonged to Qaniselani, the proceedings suddenly shifted towards Section 189 of the Criminal Procedure Act. Judge Ratta Mogoateng warning the witness about witnesses who refuse to testify. He warned about imprisonment. He warned about the consequences of refusing to answer questions. He spoke about a witness being compelled to testify. But here is the question that many observers are now asking. Had Qaniselani actually refused to answer anything? Because from what we heard in court, he was still answering. His answers were simply damaging to the state case. Every time a paragraph was put to him, his response was, I never said that. I know nothing about that. That is not my statement. Those are answers. Whether they are true or false is another matter entirely, but they are still answers. And that distinction may become very important. I signed the document, but parts of it are not mine. The burden does not automatically move to the witness. The spotlight shifts to the party relying on the statement. That party must explain who wrote the statement, who translated the statement, who interpreted the statement, who read it back, who witnessed it. And how can the court be satisfied that every paragraph accurately reflects what the witness said? Those are evidential questions. Yet, the courtroom suddenly found itself discussing witness compulsion. That is why the moment is so exclusive. The judge may have been trying to prevent future obstruction of proceedings. We don't know what he was doing, do you understand? He may have been trying to ensure that the witness understood the seriousness of the situation. But wait, the witness never refused to answer questions. So why read him Section 189? He may have been acting out of caution, but many viewers came away with a different impression. They felt as though Qaniselani was being treated as a witness who was refusing to answer questions or to cooperate when his actual position was, I will answer what I know, but I will not adopt words that are not mine. Now, let's talk about the biggest clue that something more serious was happening. Judge Ratta Mogoateng repeatedly advised Qaniselani to obtain legal representation. That was not accidental. That was significant because Once a witness starts distancing himself from signed statement, several legal questions immediately arise. Was the statement accurately recorded? Was it properly translated? Was it voluntarily adopted? Did the witness understand everything contained in it? Was anything added, summarized, interpreted, or expanded by somebody else? These are not small questions. These are questions that strike at the heart of the statement's reliability. And that is why, in my view, the most important thing that happened was not the warning about imprisonment. The most important thing was that a witness stood up in court under oath and effectively drew a line through portions of a statement attributed to him. He identified where he says he began. He identified where he says he ended. And he challenged everything beyond that point. If that challenge gains traction, the implications could be enormous, because the battle is no longer about whether Qaniselani is credible. The battle becomes whether the statement itself is credible. And once that battle begins, the focus is inevitable, turns to how the statement was obtained, recorded, and preserved. That is why this issue may become one of the most consequential procedural disputes in the current phase of the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial. The real question is no longer why won't the witness answer. The real question is, can the state prove that the words being put to him are actually his? And until that question is answered, this controversy is not going anywhere. So uJudge Ratamu Kgwatleng, with his shocking warnings to Qaniselani, he is misunderstanding, perhaps maybe misunderstanding is a good word. He is mischaracterizing what Qaniselani said. And now we do not understand why is he embarking on that trajectory, because it's not making sense. It is really not making sense. That is why in this video, what we are doing, it was such a dramatic moment that unfolded today. It was just a dramatic moment that was caused by uJudge Ratamu Kgwatleng. The warning of the defense witness, the consequences of refusing to answer questions under oath, but that was not what happened. That was very shocking. That was very shocking, because what do you mean you are going to tell him that if you don't do ABCD, this is what's going to happen to you? What do you mean? Why is Judge Rata doing that? Because Qaniselani not even once did he not answer a question. He answered and said, this is where I ended when I was giving Kinenda the statement. Why Judge Rata is not dealing with that part? Why is Judge Rata bringing threats of imprisonment to Qaniselani? A Qaniselani that is serving a lifetime imprisonment. What can 5 years do to him? What can 5 years do to Qaniselani? Like, honestly now. So I don't know what is the game plan for Judge Ratamu Kgwatleng, but tell me, did Qaniselani refuse to answer questions in your view, or did he simply refuse to adopt words that he says whenever he's? Now, that is a very key question arising from today's proceedings. If a witness says, I will answer questions about what I said, but I cannot answer questions about things that I never said, should that be treated as a refusal to testify? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please, let's keep the discussion respectful and focus on the evidence presented in court. Kindly, please make sure you do not forget to subscribe to Noni M Podcast for daily Senzo Meyiwa trial analysis and courtroom breakdowns. Please make sure you also tell your cousins, your colleagues, everybody that you know to come and focus and listen to the case in this channel. And I thank you so much for your time. Please, 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 please don't forget, don't be shy with our super thanks. They help a lot. When you do all of those things, like, share, comment, subscribe, and then I'm a super thanks. It helps the channel to grow financially and in numbers. What are your thoughts with all of this? How did you feel about all of it when uJudge Rata was behaving like that? Because I am shocked. Oh, I do not want to lie to you. I am shocked. I am still shocked to this moment. Where you are, what was happening to you? How did you feel about it? What happened to you in that moment in time? How did you feel? Let's hear from you. Quick comment section, please. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.